In 2018, I was pregnant with my son Adrian, and I attended specialist appointments with my father, who's got a Parkinson's-like disease, and we discovered that our family has a premutation of the gene Fragile X. And so my father, it presents itself as Fragile X tremor ataxia syndrome, so it's the reason he's got tremors. And fast forward a year, I had my son, Adrian, and around his first birthday, he wasn't meeting his milestones. So some red flags were raised. He wasn't talking, and he wasn't walking. And you know, some of those things can be wrapped up into just normal child development. But in my case, I knew that we had a premutation of this gene, and so as a proactive, maybe anxious mother, I reached out for support. And knowing that we had Fragile X in our family line, they took us on as a client. And around 18 to 20 months, he still wasn't meeting his milestones. And so they recommended that we get him tested for Fragile X, and he's got the full mutation of the gene. And so my story of a very difficult transition of 2021 begins. And as I'm sure you can imagine, that's a lot to digest. It's really heavy news. You have all sorts of feelings and emotions about your children and your future, and it's really heavy news to digest. And so through Fraser Valley Child Development, not only did they put supports in place so that Adrian can have the best future and best chance possible, he's been set up with speech and language therapy, physiotherapy, and us as parents, we've been set up to support him. So one of the things that comes with finding out that your child has a diagnosis is a lot of grief. And knowing that, I wanted to have some services to support me in being able to support my family and be the best mom possible for this sort of situation. The counseling services has been able to provide me with the tools that I've needed to feel more grounded and more supported, and it has been just such a lifesaver having a counselor to connect with and to coach through these really challenging times and be a support. And a few weeks ago I met with our case manager, Danielle, and I was in a pretty hairy spot, feeling really rotten about all sorts of different things that had come up, and very anxious. And she said to me that, you know, in order for your family to thrive and your son to thrive, you need to thrive. And so I wholeheartedly agree that Adrian's success and his future depends on, you know, my ability to be a great parent. And that's how I feel that Fraser Valley Child Development Center has supported us and our family, and more specifically, Adrian.
Bye.